Hi everyone, I'm Christina. I've spent most of my life living in survival mode. That is until one day when I finally decided to change. This started a journey to rediscover myself and ignited a passion for healing, spirituality, and personal growth. Now I want to share my joy and experiences with all of you. So follow along. Who knows? Maybe you just might find something you love. Hey everyone, and welcome to today's episode. We have Nikyla Maria here with us, an amazing healer I've known since 2019, master of self and inner child. Welcome, Nikyla.
Thanks. So 2019, holy moly.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited we're doing this.
I am too. Little fun fact for everyone watching, Nikyla is the first spiritual healer that I have ever worked with. So she popped my spiritual cherry, so to speak.
Yes.
And I worked with Nikyla for at least 2.5 years, really intensely working on my inner child and really breaking into healing my core wounds and finding that razzling, dazzling 5-year-old Christina.
You did such a good job too.
I don't know. Sometimes I could tell, I was like, I don't like what she's saying.
You never liked what I was
No,
saying, but you always listened. Like no matter how much you hated it, it was so fun.
Yeah, like my whole body language would be completely shut off. Like, yeah, absolutely. And I would just have to tell her, like, Nikyla would be like, you're so closed off right now. It's like, I know I look like I'm super closed off, but I'm taking everything in.
I believed you mostly.
Yeah. So Nikyla, tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, how did you get into this notion of inner child healing? Because it's not something that I ever even heard of. Like, I didn't even know what you did when I first met you. I was just like, oh, I heard she's like really like intuitive and she knows things, maybe even clairvoyant. And I was like, let's try this out.
Honestly, I feel like it was a path that chose me. I think through my own childhood trauma and then taking that experience and working with at-risk youth and kids who are deeply hurting, it gave me this like affinity for the child in general. But I could see through all of my years in education and all of the things that I did that like the root of the problem was really in the ways that the children were being raised that was like creating this systemic problem. And so I started working with parents instead of the teens or the youth, and I was working with parents on really activating and finding compassion and healing their own inner child so they could more consciously parent, and then it just evolved into all of it.
Wow, would you say that your childhood trauma kind of unconsciously got you into a career with children?
Absolutely.
Kind of. It's kind of interesting to see the evolution of it, right? Because a lot of healers, like, we go into something where we're actually the wounded ones and healing externally what we want to heal internally, right?
Yeah.
So you say you worked with kids. Could you dive into a little bit more about that?
I was a dean of students and a principal in Seattle, and all of the schools that I ever worked at were all at-risk youth. And so it wasn't in my role. Like, it's not your job as an administrator to make these deep connections with these kids, but I would have them all day, every day. They called me Mama Stock. That used to be my last name. They called me Mama Stock, and they would come into my office and they would just open fully to me, just everything. And they would have this huge connection with me, and they would spend their lunch hour with me. And this was even when I was a teacher back way long ago. And I never really understood it until one day a student said to me, "You're just like a big, huge hug, like a hug I've always needed." And that's kind of what I felt like my role in people's life is, just to love them fully and let that love really penetrate their soul and do the healing work for me.
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. I love how your past like prepared you for the role that you are in today.
Yeah.
I mean, what was the aha moment when you were like, I'm going to be an inner child healer and that's what I'm going for? Like, what went through your mind? Like, was it like a breakthrough? Was it like a beautiful aha, or were you like, I'm fucking crazy?
It definitely wasn't beautiful or big. It was
Mhm.
literally like, so when I call myself like an inner child oracle or whatever, it's like I kept having these experiences where whether it was at schools and the parents or clients like you would sit in front of me, instead of seeing this current version of you, I would see your inner child. Like they would literally come to me and be like, hey, I'm ready to work with you. I'm ready for this person to see me. And so it was like experience after experience of that where I was like, why? And then talking to other healers and like, why are these inner children showing up to me in these forms where I can see clear, like the childhood photo you showed me the other day. I'm like, I know her. I've known her longer than I've known you. And it's just like such an honor that they're willing to open up to me and trust me at that level. But like definitely not something I chose, and definitely something I resisted for a while just because I was, it's a big role to take on to be there for these beautiful souls.
I know. So like you can see like the 5-year-old inner child and like a big masculine 50-year-old 7-foot man.
Yeah.
How old was my inner child when you first saw me? Do you
5 years
remember?
old.
Oh my God, was she happy or sad or just kind of
She was okay.
she
She was guarded
Uh-huh.
and she was ready to just be her bold, bubbly self.
Oh my God, what is she like today?
The 5-year-old doesn't visit that often.
Mhm.
I see a lot of your 7 and 9-year-old, and she's just like free and wild.
Oh my God, I love
Yeah.
that. I've come a long way then.
Yeah, you have in every aspect. You've done the work.
Yeah.
Like it's been so cool to watch you.
Well, I'm so glad. I mean, I love the evolution of just our relationship as well, from me being the client and you being like my mentor at that point and teacher. And then now we have blossomed into this amazing friendship.
Yeah, which is so much more fun for both of us.
Yeah, absolutely. That we can still be in that same space together.
And lots more pizza.
I'm excited for the pizza. We're gonna go eat pizza after this. So can you tell me a little bit about the evolution of your work? Because I know that when I first met you, that's what you really specialized in, was just inner child healing.
Yeah.
But I know that you have grown to be such a master of so many more modalities. Can you dive into that a little bit?
I think it was through my work with inner children that I realized like the unhealed or the healed version of our inner child is our higher self. And that's the modality I work with now, is like your highest form of consciousness and walking and talking and being the embodiment of your highest self on this planet. And really also seeing the human experience as sacred. So I've shifted from this place where everything was about helping others heal their trauma to this place of allowing others to see the way that their trauma or hard experiences were also sacred, and that every step of the way they could and can embody the highest version of themselves. So it's weird because it's on the exact same line. It's just a more progressive form of inner child healing, I
So
would
it's
say.
kind of like a more just advanced version of the inner child, like
Yeah.
inner child 2.0.
Yeah. Maybe 6.0 at this point, but yeah, it feels really good, honestly. And I watch people, it's like there's not this lag like when you went through it.
Mhm.
And when I went through it, and we've talked about this, it took so long. There was a lag because we felt it and we processed it and we alchemized it and we moved through it and we gave every story validation.
Mhm.
And now the modality that I work with is more like, it doesn't have to be this huge thing that we focused on or process. It gets to be this way that we've been exalted through our trauma, through those hard experiences, and really find gratitude for them. And I find like the alchemy process is almost instantaneous.
Do you feel that that's like a shift in the Earth's frequency that's
Mhm.
causing that? Because I know that it took you even longer than me. You've been at this way longer than I have. And it took me at least a few years to really start really alchemizing
Yeah.
it all. And so with the new frequency, do you feel that that's just kind of sped up everyone's process for
Mhm.
those that are ready?
Yep. And it makes me super jealous because it took me over a decade. And now some of my clients, like 6 months and everything's Gucci. Like, and I know that sounds crazy to say, but
Yeah.
literally 6 months and they're just like walking, talking, breathing as the highest version of themselves.
Do they go through it more intensely since
They
it's
do.
so
Mhm.
it's just everything compacted?
It's just like
into a shorter timeline. Well, that's good. At least we got to process it, at least for me. I don't know about you, but it didn't feel like it was less intense when we went through it, but it probably was.
yeah, I feel like I mean, the intensity is the same, except for ours was like drawn out. And I'm glad that I had the pace that I did.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that I could feel it and experience it and move through these cycles, because it's a lot to watch a client go through a 6 month like roller coaster of everything. But at the same time, it's kind of just like ripping the band-aid off.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, that was cool. And now I'm in another timeline.
Wow. So how would someone watching this and it perks their interest, how would they get to work with you?
I have anywhere you look under Nikyla Maria, any social media, or
Mhm.
NikylaMaria.com has all of my info. I have 2 new books out that I think are a really great starting point, and the Inner Child Oracle cards obviously are a great way to start the journey. Everything that I do now is like on a donation basis, and
Mhm.
so it's really easy to work with me once you get to your spot on the waiting list. So it's yeah,
I love
Nikyla
that.
Maria everywhere.
And we'll be sure to post Nikyla's information in the description below. But if someone's watching this and they're just even curious, would you have them reach out to you just to
Yeah.
see?
Absolutely. You can message me on any of the social medias, or you can email me at info@nikylamaria.com.
Awesome. Well, I'm really excited for today too, because it has been quite some time since I have actually worked with you
Yeah.
in any
What, like
capacity.
2 years?
Yeah, at
Yeah.
least since like 2022,
Yeah.
somewhere around there. And today, Nikyla is actually going to do some kind of healing on me.
We don't know yet.
We don't know what it is yet, but definitely want you to join us, and we'll be back right after this, after we set up. Okay, so Nikyla just took a moment to see what kind of healing would be best for me right now. And it looks like we're going to do a energetic chakra realignment. Does it need a big adjustment or am I pretty good?
It needs a big adjustment.
Ah, okay, that's fine because I've actually been releasing a lot right
Yeah,
now,
that's
so
what
that
it
makes a
feels
lot
like.
of sense.
Yeah.
Okay, doesn't mean that I'm not healed.
No, it does not.
So Nikyla usually starts the session by setting an intention for the energetic work and will also bless and clear and protect the space with sage. She also turns on meditation music for me, which I find really helpful.
All right, big deep breaths. Or you can just focus on your breath. And your higher self is here, like wanting to share with you.
I love how she has me breathe really deeply because it really helps calm my nervous system down. I really love how Nikyla takes the time to properly cleanse the space and make sure that I am fully open to receiving and healing. She starts at my feet and begins working her way up, making sure that every chakra is aligned and spending extra time at those that aren't. Here she is yawning. If you look really closely, that is her taking the energy that no longer serves me and releasing it through her. So she acts as a channel to release whatever does not serve me anymore. When I first started working with Nikyla, she would always yawn and cough and even heave a lot. So it was really refreshing to see that it happened a lot less in this session. We continue this process throughout the rest of my body, working her way, releasing my energy that no longer serves me, and also making sure to pour great energy back into my system. You can see here that she's working on my throat chakra. This is one that I had a lot of problems with in the past of being able to speak up or even speak my truth. And here she is working on my head. I used to get into my head a lot, and still sometimes I do, but it's getting a lot better and I lead from a place of my heart, which has been amazing. At this point, she had me sit up because there was a piece of something stuck in my heart that was not willing to let go. So I sat up and she had me cough as much as I could. And for a while, it didn't seem to dislodge. But then I even started visualizing that there was something in my heart, and with every cough, that it was starting to chip away, break down, and slowly dissolve. And that really helped to remove it from the back of my heart. This was the final thing that we worked on. And then after that, she just kind of checks my body and my auric field and energy field to make sure everything's good and in alignment. For the final piece, you can see that she is layering me in a cloak of protection. She usually goes over this a few times, I think 3. I could be wrong. But after that, she will close it out with a protection prayer, and then the session is over. I'm so glad that I was able to actually see what goes on, because usually my eyes are closed and I'm so focused on my own self that I have never actually seen her do her thing. And it was such a cool thing to see. I'm so grateful and blessed to witness this. First of all, thank you so much, Nikyla. I am a huge fan of your energy work. And I haven't gotten that in so long. It was like such a treat today.
For me too. I was like, yeah, this is fun.
I loved it because I was letting you know that the last healing I got from you in 2022, I felt so heavy in my body, not in a grounded way, but just so weighed down by the beliefs and the burdens that I had felt at that time. But when you worked on me this time, I felt so light. And anytime you put your hands on me, I could feel the energy moving from the back side of my body and dissipating through the front. So do you want to tell everyone a little bit about what you saw and felt as you were working on me?
Yeah, so it was really just beautiful. I can tell, like, energetically that you've been doing crazy amounts of work on your own, because, like, while your chakras were not aligned, it wasn't because of anything, like, it wasn't you that was out of alignment. It was because you've been expanding and expanding and expanding and haven't really gotten into those caverns of releasing the old shit that you were focused on. And so we went through every chakra and we cleared out all of that old denser energy that just wasn't in harmony with who and what you are today.
Yeah.
And so we cleared it, we restructured all of your chakras, we got them working and flowing together, and your body was so receptive. Like, I could have poured energy into you all day. Your body was so receptive of it. There was one small little, I guess, for lack of a better word, it was like a little tar baby of energy in the back of your heart. And that was like, you want so bad. Can I just speak freely?
Yeah.
You want so badly to receive. And there was just like this tiny little piece right on the back of your heart that you just couldn't let go of. And today you finally just like released it. It came out not that easily, but it did come out, and it just like opened everything up and your heart just blossomed. And I feel like that was like this aspect of not being able to receive from God fully. So from whatever that was.
That's so crazy, because I don't think you know that my last full moon manifestation was to really receive. That's the intention that I set out. And it's what I've been actually really working on right now, just to allow myself to fully receive and know that I'm worthy and deserving of it all, that I've always been.
Yeah.
And being in alignment with it, not just consciously, but with in full alignment with my soul and mind and body.
Oh, that makes so much sense. It was like this big and it just didn't want to come out. And it was like,
well, I saw it in the, like, when you were like cough, because that's why you had me cough, right? Was to help release it. I was visualizing like and it's so funny because you said a tar baby, and it was everything surrounding it was in gold, but the little nugget was black.
Yeah, it was just this black little thing. And it was funny because your whole field was just like vibrant and all this light was pouring in. And then there was this one thing on the back of your heart. And I was like, oh, that's gotta go.
So what happens if you don't mind, as much as you feel comfortable sharing, you yawn and cough, and you actually go through some physical purges as you're working on your clients. What is going on during those times?
I find it's easier for me to help you release through my body because I don't get attached to anything you're feeling. So what I do is I take your energy through my field and purify it, and it comes out. And that way you're not sitting there puking and doing, I mean, people have before, but you're not sitting there doing this intense amount of physical work where you get to focus on the energetic. And so one of my gifts is to be able to take that energy from you and alchemize it through my own light body. And so it's more of a just kind of like, I don't know. It just makes the process easier on your body.
So basically you assist us.
Yeah.
you take like kind of like in the Green Mile when that guy, have you ever seen the Green Mile? So it's an old movie,
Okay.
probably dating myself, but there's this one man who can actually take on people's pain and illnesses, and he sucks it into his body, but then he has to let it go, otherwise
That's exactly it.
yeah. So that's kind of, so it is real.
Yeah. I gotta watch that movie now.
Yeah. It's a pretty intense movie, so maybe another time, but
Not today.
Yeah, definitely not today. Oh my God, I love this so much. It's so cool to see like your process and just understanding how it's working. And I love, especially, I think my favorite part is hearing that it's not stuff that I am sticking, or it's not stuff that I am purposely trying to keep inside of me anymore.
Right.
You know, I'm not stuffing and numbing and compartmentalizing my pain anymore. It's just literally like an energetic tune-up.
Well, and I think that's
Yeah.
a lot of people skip the step of like you process and alchemize and you go through the motion, right?
Mhm.
But there's this huge aspect of energetic hygiene where you actually have to clear out your energy field
Yeah.
and all of your chakras. And when you don't do that and you're expanding and expanding, it just kind of like finds little caverns to make a home in.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to see someone like you who has been cleaning up all of your energy leaks and all of those stories, and you've been living at this higher vibration, and it's just like it was literally like the easiest cleanup ever.
Oh, I love that. It's like how when you consciously remove something from your field, but then your body remembers, and then you remove it from the body, but then the energetic and auric fields all contain some of that memory. And that's the part that I couldn't quite get to on my own.
Yeah.
Oh, you need to do these energetic healings more, Nikyla.
I know.
I'm like, I need to come and do a regular routine maintenance with you.
It's just so fun.
Because it's just so much easier to have you do it than like me, like consciously just be like, get out of my field, right?
And I mean, it's kind of like a massage. It's like a special treat, but you leave feeling
Yeah.
a different version of yourself, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I'll tell you something though. I know that when I used to come see you, my left side was always blocked because that's my feminine side. And surprise, surprise, I lived in my masculine for so long. But today, like when you had me sit on the table and put pressure back against you, my left side automatically took over. Like
Yeah,
it
you were
wasn't
so open and flowy.
Yeah, I was
like, damn,
whoa,
girl.
I can feel my left side actually helping this time rather than just my right. And I do feel a little, there's some kind of something going on from the crown of my head down to like right here. Like it feels, like if it were its own body part, what kind of is, it feels a little nauseous there, just that spot.
I think the thing with your energy field that I noticed today is you activated parts of it that have never been active before.
Oh, okay.
And so it's more like you're noticing this part is here that's never been there before, and you're trying to just integrate it all.
Yeah, I love it. This is when I love settling in the discomfort because I'm like, okay, this is nauseous, but I know it's doing something for me.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to try to force it out or try to do anything to compensate for it. But today, right, is just to be kind to myself, drink lots of water.
I was just gonna say that. You knew it.
Nikyla always tells me that I don't get enough water. I'm like, I think I do. And she'll always look at me and she'll be like, I don't think that's true.
Whatever you think, double it.
Oh my God, this has been such a pleasure.
That was so fun.
Oh my God,
I loved it.
I love it. And you guys, if you're even just remotely curious, just reach out to Nikyla. That's what got me to see her at first. I had no idea what she did, and I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I honestly thought that like she would tell me a little bit about my future because I had just quit my job and left my whole life at that point. And I left the meeting feeling like, what the fuck just happened? And then I came back for another 2.5 years. So that should be testament enough.
Oh, I love you.
This is my skydiving. So I have no fear when it comes to looking at all the weird, shadowy parts of myself.
No, you don't.
All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for joining us today. And again, we will post the description of Nikyla's services down below and link to her website. And by the way, one final thing, Nikyla, since I know you won't say it yourself. Nikyla just published and launched her first book around the inner child and just amazing guided channelings, messages. So
Go to her website.
I
and
hope
pick
that
up
you
a
enjoyed
copy
this
today.
episode, and
And
thanks for
stay tuned.
joining, and until next time.